Book 1, Chapter 41. That afternoon, she finally had enough, so she searched for Dimitri. She knew she had to get to the bottom of things. She couldn't keep doing this with him. When she reached his office, she knocked this time, not wanting to have a repeat of last time. "Go away," he mumbled. She rolled her eyes and opened the door. The sight before her had her frozen mid-step. Sitting in a corner, holding his bloody and bruised hand, was Dimitri. She swallowed as she closed the doors and carefully walked over to him. "What do you want?" he asked, not even looking at her. She sighed and sat beside him. "I want an explanation. The truth. I've been so confused, and you've been going between loving her and not loving her." He slowly looked at her, and that was when she noticed the cuts all over his face. "Did you bash your face in the mirror or something?" she asked as she inspected the cuts. He shook his head. "Something like that. I fell." "I see. As for the truth, I do love you. I love you more than anything. I was still clinging on to those happy memories I had of her. I was drunk because I had to make the final decision of either killing her or letting her go. A part of me was still in love with her. She was the first girlfriend I had. I didn't know how to let go, so I held on. I did still love her, but I loved you more. I was disgusted with her at the same time, and it confused me," he explained, tears now running down his face. He sighed and wiped the tears away, smearing blood across his face. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry for hurting you. I never meant to. I was confused, stuck. I didn't know what to do. I tried getting answers from her, and she just messed with my head, and I didn't know how to handle it." "And you cracked," Rosalie whispered. He nodded. "I'm an alcoholic. I'm an asshole when I'm drunk. I don't know what to do. I can't do this anymore. I'm sorry. Dimitri, calm down. Shh," she soothed as she hugged him. "Now this is a mental breakdown," her wolf commented. "For crying out loud, shut up," she yelled at her wolf. She held him until he calmed down. Once he was calmed down, she still didn't let him go. Book 1, Chapter 42. "Ow, did that have to hurt? Well, I am yanking glass out of your fucking face. Honestly, why the hell did you trash your office? I was upset." Rosalie sighed as she got the last piece out. She threw the glass away as the cut healed on his face. When she looked back at him, he was staring at her with guilt. They just stared at each other for a while, studying each other. He then grabbed her face and crushed his lips to hers. She could feel all his pain, guilt, love, passion, and lust in that one kiss. She kissed him back with all of her love and want. He grabbed her and pulled her onto his lap. They are both panting, trying to grab air from their fun. Rosalie slowly looked at him. "Now I know why girls want to screw you." He laughed. "If they knew how I was during sex, they would either never want to leave the bed or they'd run away." "Was that angry sex, make-up sex, or making love?" she chuckled. He shrugged, mixture of all three. She sighed and cuddled against him. His eyes suddenly widened. "My room is the only soundproof room." "So," she frowned. He swallowed. "Your room is right beside my daughter's room, and they're currently in there." She paled. "We were anything but quiet." "Get it, Rosalie," Sage yelled from her room. "I'm scarred for life," Sara shrieked. Rosalie groaned. Book 1, Chapter 44. Rosalie sighed as she sat down in the conference room, trying her best to ignore all the smirks sent her way. Dimitri strode in, staring at some document. When he looked up and saw the smirks, he rolled his eyes. "You guys done looking creepy around Rose?" he asked. Damon grinned. "You two did it. Are you 5? Rosalie snapped. Damon laughed. "Still feisty. You think that's feisty? Try stealing her food," Rachel commented. "Okay, enough about me. Let's focus more on the rogues," Rosalie ordered, giving each a glare. "Someone told him about Christine's death. He's not a happy camper," Xavier began. Dimitri frowned. "Who told him?" "Don't know. They must have seen Tyler and Jake burning her body in the woods," Xavier replied. Rosalie scrunched up her nose. "Burning her body?" "We don't bury the criminals," Xander briefly explained. "Oh, so what is he saying?" Dimitri questioned. Felicity sighed. "He's planning an attack. He just started planning it. We have no idea when it'll start. But they'll tell us as soon as they know?" "Yes." "Well, I guess that's all we can do right now." Dimitri frowned. "And what's that?" Damon asked. "We wait." As they started to leave, Dimitri grabbed Rosalie and told her to stay. She frowned at him, but stood beside him as everyone else left. Once the doors were closed, Dimitri sat down. I have to introduce you as the Luna soon, he stated. Rosalie nodded. When? That is what I wanted to talk to you about. I don't know how accepting my pack will be, considering the fact their past Luna turned against them. How about this Saturday? We can do the Luna ceremony then, but you can announce me as your mate before then, she suggested, sitting on his lap. He sighed and rested his chin on her shoulder. I love you. She smiled and kissed him on the lips. I love you too. Book 1, Chapter 45. So when are you being introduced as my dad's new mate? And that means you're our stepmother, Sage cheered. Rosalie chuckled. Thursday. Then we have some shopping to do, Sara stated. And our father gave us his credit card. We can only use it for you since we bought a crap load of stuff for us last week, Sage explained. Rosalie nodded. Is it just us? Diamond is coming, and so is our Aunt Catherine, Sage replied. I'm assuming we're going today. Rosalie laughed, grabbing the card from the young girls. Sage nodded. Right now. What? We're going right now. But I'm not done being lazy, she whined. Sage rolled her eyes. Come on, lazy bones. As they waited for Diamond, Catherine explained that Dimitri and his brothers were currently patrolling the north side of the territory. She frowned when she heard about one of guys has the stomach flu now. She knew, knowing Dimitri's luck, he was going to get it. She was not looking forward to that. As they walked into the mall, she gaped at all the stores. The girls dragged her away from Victoria's Secrets, claiming that she needed to have a gown specifically designed for her. She furrowed her eyebrows at that. She didn't think coming here meant she was getting a one-of-a-kind gown. When they walked into a beautiful dress store, she couldn't keep her eyes off any of the dresses. Every time she tried looking at one, she was pulled away. Hey, Chelsea, Sage grinned. A woman with beautiful black hair and brown skin spun around. Her eyes lit up at the sight of them as she ran over. You must be Rosalie. Oh my gosh, you're beautiful. Come, we don't have much time, she rambled, shoving the girls into a room. She flicked on a light and started grabbing sketches. She placed them in Rosalie's hands before grabbing a pencil and a sketch pad. Now, if you don't like any of them, just tell me. I make something else. The woman grinned. Rosalie smiled before carefully looking through the drawings. She finally stopped at the second to last. The gown was beautiful. It was a simple white gown with silver-colored sparkles covering the top. As you looked down the dress, the sparkles faded out. This one, she said, showing it to the woman. I love it. The woman smiled. Girl, this is going to look beautiful on you. Just let me take your measurements and we'll be good to go. Once her measurements were taken, Chelsea immediately got to work. They spent another hour looking around for a dress for Catherine. Apparently, the Alphas held a huge ball every May 5th. Since she was Dimitri's mate now, she had to go with them. She briefly remembered Cyrus refusing to go to them, but her parents did go twice. She stopped thinking of them as soon as she felt the tears. Instead, she focused on following the girls around. By the time they were done shopping, she was holding 10 Victoria's Secrets bags and 1 Charlotte Russe bag. Catherine took a sip of her Starbucks as she walked out of the mall with her billion bags. You guys love to shop, she breathed as they reached the car. Sage grinned. It's fun. Yeah, fun, she mumbled sarcastically. If you consider your arms feeling like they're going to fall off any minute, fun. Then yeah, fun. Catherine raised an eyebrow at her. Not a shopper? Hell no, now I remember why. When they burst through the front door, they were met with a frowning Dimitri. He folded his arms across his chest and raised an eyebrow. Now I know these aren't all for Rosalie. Book 1, Chapter 46. They all stared at him before looking at each other. Sage laughed nervously and scratched the back of her head. Actually, they're mostly hers, the other 20 are Catherine's. She mumbled. He raised an eyebrow and glanced at Rosalie. I thought you hated shopping. I do. Your daughters decided to torture me, she grumbled. He laughed. Just tell me what bags are yours and I'll carry them up. Do you think Xavier can carry mine? Catherine pouted. Well, he's currently puking upstairs. He trailed off as her eyes widened. My poor baby, she shrieked as she dashed up the stairs with her bags. Dimitri shook his head before grabbing all her bags and walking upstairs. Before Rosalie was able to leave, Sage gently grabbed her elbow. You and my dad won't have a bad fight again, right? He was really bad when you ran away that night. she asked softly, fear evident in her eyes. Rosalie smiled warmly at her. No, from now on, we work things out. She scurried up the stairs and walked into her room to see Dimitri leaning against the wall. He had a smirk plastered on his face as he held some lingerie in his one hand. Her eyes widened and her cheeks turned pink with embarrassment as she snatched the lingerie from him. "It's not polite to go through your mate's bags," she scolded. He chuckled and wrapped his arms around her waist before pulling her close. He kissed her neck and earned a moan from her. "We are spending the rest of the day together. In bed," he whispered. She shivered as an ache formed in her core. "You are one horny guy," she teased. He chuckled. "Darling, I can smell your arousal as well. What are you waiting for?" After 3 hours of sex, they cuddled in their bed and put on a movie. Rosalie sighed as she laid her head on his chest, listening to the sound of his heart. She slowly looked up to see him sound asleep. She sat up a little and studied him, admiring how beautiful he looked without all those stress lines on his face. She sighed and wrapped her arms around him, pulling him closer. He stirred a bit in his sleep. Turning over, he wrapped his arms around her and nuzzled his face in her neck. She smiled and kissed him on the temple. "I love you," she whispered. "I'm never letting go and will love you forever, no matter what." Book 1, Chapter 47. Rosalie woke up to see the bed empty. She frowned as she sniffed the air. She became even more confused when she couldn't even smell Dimitri's scent at all. Worry started to bubble in her chest as she slowly got out of bed, her eyes scanning the room. "Dimitri?" she called out. "So, this spray does mask your scent, apparently. Cool." She shrieked and jumped, almost falling on her ass if it wasn't for the wall. She placed her hand over her heart and looked at a shocked yet amused Dimitri. "Did I scare you?" he chuckled. She scowled at him. "No, I was exercising." He rolled his eyes before walking over to her and placing his hands on her hips. He tilted her chin up and looked at her. His eyes reflected nothing but love. She was confused until he leaned down and kissed her on the lips. She melted into the kiss quickly, her whole body relaxing as he pulled her close. She suddenly pulled away with red cheeks. "Morning breath! I didn't brush my teeth," she gasped before sprinting into the bathroom. She could hear him laughing. She then heard him sit on the bed as she brushed her teeth. After she was done, she walked back out to the bedroom and sat beside him. "I was thinking you, me, and the girls could go on a picnic or something. What do you think?" he asked. She smiled. "That sounds perfect." Once they were both dressed, they waited for Sage and Sara before walking out. Rosalie laughed as Sage and Sara tried racing each other, only for Dimitri to yell at them about the river. She sighed and looked at the river, marveling at its beauty. She was curious as to where Dimitri was taking them, but she didn't ask any questions. Instead, she enjoyed nature and laughed at the twins' antics. "Close your eyes, all 3 of you," Dimitri ordered. Rosalie raised an eyebrow before closing her eyes and letting him lead her. "Ow!" Sara groaned as she walked into a tree. "Oops, sorry, forgot that tree was there," Dimitri laughed. "No, you didn't. That was on purpose." Dimitri continued to laugh as he pulled his daughter away from the tree. "Next time, don't steal my sunglasses and then return them. Broken. That wasn't me." "Oh, so they just walked by themselves?" "Yes." He rolled his eyes before stopping them. With a wide smile, he let go and sighed. "Open your eyes." All 3 girls gasped as they opened their eyes to a beautiful meadow. Dimitri gently tugged on Rosalie's hand, snapping her out of her shocked state. Sage and Sara sprinted into the meadow, shrieking as if they were 6 again. "We used to come here with my parents," Dimitri explained as they watched the girls. "They loved it. Christine never came, so it was a peaceful getaway for us." Rosalie frowned. "They didn't like hanging out with her?" He sighed. A sad look crossed his features. "They never did, because they barely knew her. They knew she was their mother, but she never acted like one. They had to refer to her as Luna, and not Mom or Mother. When they were only a few months old, she threw the responsibilities of both of us on me while she went out and partied. When I found out she was cheating on me, I tried hiding it from them. What happened? When they were 5, she left. She rejected me, disowned them, lied to them about me hating them. Then she finally left. The whole pack was affected by her abandonment, but Sara and Sage were affected more." He took a shaky breath as his eyes sparkled with tears. They were scared of me after I went back to my cruel ways. They never saw that side of me, and I wish they hadn't. I don't know. I gave control over to my wolf. The pain was getting worse, and I was afraid of it. She stopped walking and cupped his face. He looked at her as she stroked his cheek with her thumb. But they still loved you. They love you today, too. Unlike their so-called mother, you've been an amazing parent to them. They know why you did what you did. They know all about rejection now. They understand you were in pain. Sage actually asked me if we're going to get in a fight again. She was scared. She said you were really bad after I left. What did she mean by that? She asked softly. He sighed. I lost it. I trashed multiple rooms. I drank until I passed out and punched the wall multiple times. That's why my knuckles were bloody the night you walked in after you returned. I'm sorry, she whispered as she hugged him, for leaving. No, I'm sorry for being an idiotic asshole. I deserved that, he murmured. She sighed and looked up. For now on, we talk things out, deal? He smiled and kissed her on the lips. Deal. They both continued walking towards the middle of the meadow as the girls shifted and chased each other in wolf form. Good thing I brought extra clothes with me. I had a feeling they were going to shift. Dimitri chuckled. Rosalie laughed. Did you bring extra for us? He smirked before setting the basket down. Guess we'll find out after lunch. Girls, lunch. Rosalie rolled her eyes as she sat beside him. Jerk. That would be me, he grinned. After lunch, the girls hid behind trees as they undressed before shifting. Dimitri and Rosalie shifted in the field, ripping their clothes apart in the process. Rosalie let out a howl of joy as she played with her new family. Book 1, Chapter 48. Rosalie, wake up! Take Sage and Sara to the basement. She snapped her eyes open to see a frantic Dimitri, his eyes clouded over with rage. She quickly ran out of bed and grabbed the girls, not asking Dimitri any questions. Sage and Sara continued asking her questions, but she didn't answer. They skidded to a halt when two rogues jumped through the window and blocked their exit. Rosalie didn't hesitate to run up and slit the one rogue's throat. She spun around to see Sage tackling the other rogue and breaking his neck. She quickly grabbed them again and ran into the basement. As they ran down the stairs, a sharp pain shot through her abdomen, causing her to almost stumble down the stairs. Sage and Sara caught her before she almost fell. A thin sheet of sweat coated her face. Rosalie, are you okay? Sage asked, her eyes mirroring worry. Rosalie swallowed and nodded before continuing. They sat down and listened to the cries of pain from outside. After 30 minutes, Rosalie had enough and stood up. If a rogue comes down here, you can protect yourselves? She questioned. Sage grinned as she looked towards a door. Oh yeah, we can. Rosalie frowned and followed her gaze. Why are you looking there? That's the old torture room. We have a lot of silver weapons in there, she explained. Rosalie nodded before running back up the stairs. She found one of the warriors and ordered him to stay with the girls. He quickly obeyed and ran into the basement, closing the door behind him. She turned only for another sharp pain to go through her ribs. She gasped out in pain, but continued running outside. She stopped when she saw the training field full of fighting wolves. Her eyes scanned the field until she found Dimitri's wolf running through, slaughtering any rogue that got in his way. A dark gray and white wolf suddenly jumped out at him and bit into his shoulder. Rosalie bit back a scream as a burning pain erupted in her shoulder. Once it was gone, she frowned. I'm feeling his pain. She thought before shifting and attacking a rogue. She dodged, killed, and attacked multiple rogues. She continued fighting, refusing to back down to them. She spotted Dimitri fighting with another large wolf who has scars all over his body. She was about to run over to him when someone else attacked her. She looked up to see the rogue leader grinning at her. His eyes held an evil glint. His smile was sadistic as he watched her. You're all mine, girl. He sneered before shifting and lunging at her. She growled and dodged his attack. She spun around and grabbed him by the back leg. He whined as she swung him around and slammed him into a tree. Before he was able to get up, she broke his neck. Pathetic excuse for a leader, she thought bitterly. She took a step forward when pain exploded in her chest and traveled through her body. She whined and fell to the ground. Her vision blurred as she tried standing. A tan rogue started running towards her with bloodthirsty eyes, but she couldn't do anything. She felt a numbness wash over before an even more intense pain sliced through her. She watched as a black and white wolf attacked the rogue and killed it. When the wolf turned towards her, she recognized the brown eyes of her brother. He ran up to her and licked the side of her face. "Rose, you have to get up. Come on." He linked her. She slowly stood on shaking legs. She attempted to walk but fell over again. "What is wrong with me?" she asked him. He whined a little before looking around. He froze and his eyes widened. She sat up again and turned her head to see Dimitri's wolf on the ground. The large scarred wolf circled him. A dark look sparkled in his eyes. "No, no, 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 no," she chanted in her head. She shook her head as she attempted to run over, only to collapse again. Tears rolled down her cheeks. Wave after wave of pain crashed through her. His wolf was covered in blood and panting. She desperately tried linking him but couldn't. Her brother went to run over, but she stopped him. "I'm not losing you, too," she growled. He gave her a sad look before sitting down and whining. She closed her eyes and got on her feet again. She ignored the immense pain as she took a step forward. She took a deep breath and focused on her bond with Dimitri. She quickly blocked it and was relieved when the pain suddenly left her. She bared her teeth and sprinted forward, not giving the scarred wolf any chance to dodge her as she attacked him. She was quick with her attacks, ripping off flesh like it was nothing. When she went in for the kill, he suddenly barked and whined at her. She stopped and backed up, shock washed over her. "Uncle Jace?" she whispered in her mind. "Rose, why are you attacking me? You should be attacking that monster," her uncle sneered. "He killed your parents, my sister and brother-in-law." She shook her head. "No, he's been protecting me from the man who killed them. I'm mated to him." At this, her uncle froze and looked at her. Her eyes held pain as she turned back towards Dimitri. She shifted back, ignoring the fact she was naked. She knelt beside him and laid his head in her lap. He opened his eyes and looked at her. Pain was shining in them as he whined. He tried getting up, but collapsed with a loud yelp. She hushed him and stroked his fur. She looked up when her uncle walked over, his eyes holding guilt. I didn't know. That man." He trailed off. She smiled softly. "That man was the one to kill my parents, not Dimitri." Her uncle whined a little and sat down. He then turned around and howled. All the rogues stopped fighting and looked at him. He then barked and motioned for them to leave. Almost immediately, the rogues ran into the forest. The ones who couldn't were dead. She ignored all that was happening and looked back at Dimitri as his eyes closed. Book 1, Chapter 49. "Dimitri, open your damn eyes." She snapped after begging him 6 times. He didn't open them, though. Instead, he shifted back. She looked up as his brothers ran over with shirts and shorts. She quickly threw on a shirt and flipped Dimitri onto his back. Once he was covered up, she ran her fingers through his hair. Tears ran down her cheeks. Xander checked his pulse and frowned. His eyes lost their light as tears pooled into them. He slowly backed away and looked down, clenching his fists. Rosalie started to cry. She already knew he was dead even before Xander checked. She cradled him, not caring about the blood soaking the shirt. Tears continued to run down her face as loud sobs escaped her lips. "I love you," she whimpered as she held him. She looked up as Catherine knelt beside her. She gave her a sorrowful look. "They have to take him away now." Rosalie nodded quietly and gently laid him back down. She stood up and leaned against Catherine. Catherine wrapped her arms around her and hugged her. "Dad!" They all looked over to see Sage and Sara running towards them. Both girls stopped and stared at their father's pale and limp form. Rosalie walked over to them and pulled them into a hug as they cried. After a while, they slowly walked over to his body and knelt beside him. Sage bent down and hugged him. She then kissed him on the cheek. "I love you, Daddy," she whispered. Sara then hugged him as well. "I love you," she whimpered. Sage gently pulled her sister away as a few pack members grabbed his body. The girls looked at Rosalie, who was crying silently. They ran over and hugged her. "You're all we have left of a parent," Sage whispered. Rosalie smiled sadly at her. "I swear I'll be the mother you two never had," she murmured. After a while, they walked into the pack house and helped clean up. It took them until 10 at night to clean everything up. Once they were done, they all showered and went to bed. Rosalie crawled into the bed and laid down. She laid on Dimitri's side and breathed in his scent. She started to cry more when she felt someone climb into the bed. She looked up to see Sage and Sara giving her sorrowful looks. She opened up her arms and pulled them into a hug. As they cried into her shirt, she made a silent promise to try her hardest to protect them from a pain like this. It's not over yet. There's a few more chapters that will make you hate me and love me.